So without further ado, my friend, and this guy is an inspiration to me also, Caleb.
What's up, guys? My name's Caleb. I'm an alcoholic. Kelsey, I can fully relate to you. I've been stuck in self all day, really weak since Jim asked me to do this. My sobriety date is November 19th, 2022. I have a sponsor, and I sponsor other guys. My home group is here at the Fourth Dimension. I remember early in sobriety, I picked 4D to be my home group because I was super uncomfortable with this thing, and they're like, it's a speaker meeting, you don't got to speak. Fast forward a little time, and here we are, right? So I don't have too much time, but I'll break it down quick. So what it was like, man, I was born in North Carolina. I had a fairly normal childhood, right? I played sports. It was me, my mom, my two sisters, and my brother. I had a normal childhood growing up. I moved to Florida when I was about 9 or 10. I moved to Hernando Beach. And I didn't know anybody here. I was super uncomfortable. I was this little kid with a country accent, and I didn't really fit in with too many people. I got introduced to a couple people on the school bus. I started hanging out with them, and I picked up a hobby. I picked up skateboarding, man, and that's kind of what I ran with. I ran with skateboarding, and I got introduced to the life behind it, right? I got a lot of other substances that were involved in my story. I started smoking a little weed, hanging around people that were doing the same, and consequences started for me very, very early. Caught my first criminal case when I was 14 years old. Sold weed to an undercover cop. I was trying to fit in, trying to do the cool thing, man. I wanted to be accepted. And this went on for many, many years, man. And I look back at it now, and I was just chasing acceptance. I just wanted to be a part of. I just wanted to fit in. And essentially, I just got addicted to the whole lifestyle behind it, man. Fast forward a few years, more criminal charges. It was just a nonstop cycle. I just in and out of jail, in and out of jail. There was a time period there, many, many years, which I don't even really remember. I have flashbacks. I have like visions of what happened along those lines, and the only bits of sobriety I ever really had was when I was incarcerated. And when I'm incarcerated, I have this story that I fully believe to myself, man, when I get out, it's going to be different this time. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to moderate. I'm going to control. I had no idea about powerlessness, man. I always thought in the back of my head I could do this thing on my own self-will, man. And obviously I can't, right? I've tried. But this was my life. From 14, I'm 30 now. I spent more than half of that time incarcerated. I just couldn't get right. I never amounted to anything. I never had any serious stability. I never took life serious. It got to a point where I just accepted. This program's big about acceptance, and when I'm out there getting loaded, I accepted that was my life. That's what I had going for me. I would never be able to amount to anything, man. I was full of self-pity. I was full of fear, and I just wanted to be accepted in whatever way, shape, or form I could make that happen. So, like I said, man, I never really amounted to anything in life, and at the age of 22, me and my child's mother, she got pregnant and I was gonna have a baby, right? Figured that would get me right, man. It didn't. My daughter was born and I was incarcerated at the time she was born. I got out and I tried to be a dad. This was that time for me, right? It's my time to get life right. I'm gonna do it this time for my kid. And I failed at that too, man. I just couldn't get right for her. I couldn't get right for nothing, man. So I got out of jail. I tried to be a dad for about 2 months, and I'm as soon as I'm out, man, I'm right back getting loaded. 2 months later, I'm back in jail again, and this time I go to prison, and I do a year in prison. I get out in 2017. Up in the Panhandle. I'm up Gulf CI. I get on the Greyhound. I come to my sister's house in Spring Hill, Florida, and my daughter's there waiting for me when I get off the Greyhound. And this was a moment in my life where I finally start to do something productive with my life. I have my daughter full time. Her mother left state, so I have my daughter full time. I get a job. I get an apartment. I get a license. I get a car. And in my eyes, man, I'm doing good, right? And I'm not sober doing this, right? I'm still dabbling. I'm still drinking, doing all my other substances, but I'm thinking that I got it this time because I built a life up. I've got a little bit of stability. I'm doing better than I've ever done in my life, and that was dangerous for me because I got complacent, right? And about 2.5 years later, her mother comes back to Florida, and she asked to see my daughter. I asked my daughter, "You want to see your mother?" And she said, "Absolutely." So of course, and at this point, I have a little less responsibility. I don't have my daughter full time. I start getting back involved with the way things used to be. I got deeper involved in getting loaded, man. And slowly but surely, I lost it all again, man. And it got so bad to the point where her mother filed a motion through the courts, and it talks about this in a big book, man. We have a big important business event, or we have something, and we're gonna get. I got loaded on a Zoom court call for custody of my daughter, man. I told myself that day before, I just gotta stay straight for this day, man. I gotta do it for this day. But the anxiety hit me, everything hit me, man, and I got loaded on this Zoom court call in front of a judge, and essentially they granted her temporary full custody. So for anybody I don't even want to say normal. For somebody else, that might be enough. Let me get my life right. You just lost custody of your daughter, right? Let's do something about this. In my eyes, I was hurt. Obviously, I was upset about it, but that gave me more justification to get loaded. That gave me a reason to feel sorry for myself. That gave me every reason to get loaded the way I want to get loaded. I don't have all these responsibilities. I can do what I want to do the way I want to do it now. And that's just how selfish I was, right? So this was 2021, I believe, right around those lines. And it's sad, man. I don't really remember a lot. I'm just blacked out all the time. I got visions of things that are happening. And in 2022, I haven't seen my daughter for some months. I'm just getting loaded. I'm doing my deal. I can't really work as much because I'm not showing up late. I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. So I get back into selling substances and the whole lifestyle behind that. And in April of 2022, I'm on one of the hardest runs I've ever been on. I crashed 3 vehicles within a month. I crashed my car. I'm borrowing a friend's car. I totaled his car. I'm in a work truck. I totaled that. I begged my brother to get me another car. He gets me a car, and I get pulled over in this car, right? And I get a couple drug charges, possession of a firearm and possession of a stolen firearm. And yet again, I'm back in jail. And at this point, my whole family, they don't want nothing to do with me. I have a brother that's hanging on, man. He's being the big brother, right? He just wants to do whatever he can. So he makes me sit for a few months in jail. And I finally convince, I manipulate him. Dude, just pay this bond. When I get out, I'm gonna pay you back. I'm gonna make all these promises that I know I can't keep. And he does, man. He bonds me out. And this time, man, it was different, right? I really wanted to get my life right, man. I got 7 felonies I'm facing. I need to do something. And again, man, you could hook me to a lie detector test and I would fully pass that thing saying that I'm gonna get my life right. I get out of jail. I'm involved with this female. This is the power of the first drink, man. We go down to downtown Newport Richey. We go to the social, and I have 1 beer, right? I have 1 beer, and then that same night, I'm right back to where I was the night before. And within this time, man, me and this female, we're just back and forth arguing. Anyways, I end up homeless, right? And I end up homeless, man. And I end up homeless, and I'm feeling so sorry for myself, man. I have this phone that nobody answer the phone, nothing. My family doesn't want, my brother, that's it, man. He wants absolutely nothing to do with me. And this is when like things get crazy, right? I get a phone call, and it's a detective, and instantly my heart drops, man. I'm worried, sick about what's going on. It's actually an ATF agent. And he wants to know something about that stolen gun. He wants information, where I got it, blah, blah, blah. And he wants to meet. And I'm terrified. I hang up on him. I don't know what to do. I hang up on the detective. He calls back again. He's like, man, you're not nothing bad. I just want to meet, blah, blah, blah. So I meet this guy at Dunkin' Donuts. And he's like, well, can you tell me anything? I'm like, dude, I bought that at a club. I don't know anything about that. I'm like, but something in me asked this guy, like, dude, can you help me, man? I am homeless. And he's like, yeah, I'll see what we can do, right? And he's like, well, where are you living? I'll come, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I'm in a tent, right? I'm like, man, I'm in a tent. And the next day, this ATF agent and his partner come to this tent that I'm at. Come to this tent. And they got pamphlets for halfway houses and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll do whatever as long as I got somewhere to go. And this is where I get introduced to the Alcoholics Anonymous. And from there, I'm in a halfway house. And my sponsor and a lot of guys from this meeting come into this halfway house. They bring in meetings. And my sponsor specifically, he comes to me after the meeting. I'm like 100 pounds. I got like 6 teeth in my mouth. I'm a wreck, right? I'm a mess. And he's like, man, do you need a sponsor? I'm like, absolutely, dude. And I was willing to do anything at that point. And I got sober on 11/19. I picked up my first white chip on 11/22/2022. And from that point forward, I got busy working the steps. And I got through 1, 2, and 3. And it was weird, man. They did nothing for me. And I kind of slacked on that 4th step. And my sponsor came to me, man, and he basically said, I'm not going to like enable you. If you want to do this deal, get with me and we'll do it. And at that point, I'm like, my sponsor's about to fire me. I'm about to be back in that mess that I was in. So I really got busy doing this thing, man. And I can tell you, like, for today, I'm living a life that I never dreamed. And it's not because I have, like, all these materialistic things. I was able to get out of the halfway house, get a car, get my own place. But I have a life of peace and serenity today. I was able to be a part of my business partner. He and his fiance, I watched her get sober. I watched her to get pregnant, or watch them get pregnant, right? I watched them get pregnant. And I was able to be a part of their maternity photo shoot. And I was able to be a part of him asking her to marry her. And they're going to have their baby any day this day. And they asked me to be the godparent to this baby, man. And that's just mind-blowing. I would never imagine that. And like for my daughter, man, I can't wait to make this amends. But I've been working so hard to get my daughter back. And just this past week, I've done everything necessary. And I hired the attorney, and the motion's being put in Monday. And sometime in the near future, I'll have my daughter back, right? And I couldn't have done this without Alcoholics Anonymous. I couldn't have done this without you guys. Like, I don't get emotional, but I'm about to get emotional right now because this is me living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I could not have done it without you guys. So thank you guys for my sobriety.
All right, let's give all our celebrants another round of applause. Let's see, we passed a basket in accordance with the 7th tradition. Also, a second basket went around for ASL donations. You can pick up meeting sheets after the meeting. Oh yeah, I said it a little early. We're supposed to give a round of applause now, so let's do it now. If you're willing to become a sponsor, raise your hand. And let's see, who else reads? Steve will read There Is a Solution.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm an alcoholic. There is a solution. Almost none of us like the self-searching, the leveling of our pride, the confession of shortcomings which the process requires for its successful consummation. But we saw that it really worked in others, and we had come to believe in the hopelessness and futility of life as we had been living it. When therefore we were approached by those in whom the problem had been solved, there was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools that laid at our feet. We have found much of heaven. We have been rocketed into a fourth dimension of existence, of which we had not even dreamed of.
All right, and Adam will come read the long form of Tradition 12 and close the meeting.
Adam, alcoholic. And finally, we of Alcoholics Anonymous believe that principle of anonymity has an immense spiritual significance. It reminds us that we are to place principle before personalities, that we are actually to practice a genuine humility. This to the end of our great blessings may never spoil us, that we shall forever live in thankful contemplation of Him who presides over us all. For all that care to join, we close with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,